Hello and welcome to today's episode of Knobi Cooks. Today is a good day if you like seafood, because in this video I will show you how to prepare one pan shrimps. It is a simple yet tasty dish anyone can prepare. All you need is a pan, a pot and some ingredients. If you enjoy my content, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel. So for starters, make sure you have prepared all of your ingredients and utensils. As you can see, I've prepared my ingredients, my large pan and my pot. We start by setting up our water for boiling, and we can also turn the heat on our pan because we will need it very soon. Then we turn our attention to our first ingredient, our onion. As most of the time we will dice it. Here it is up to you. If you like more texture in your dish, go for larger dices. If you prefer a smoother texture, go for smaller dices. If you are a regular viewer, you may have noticed that I'm using very large onions for my dishes. That is because I'd rather cut one large onion than cutting 2 or 3 smaller ones. Sometimes onion peeling can be really annoying if the skins won't budge and you have to basically destroy your onion to be able to cut it. So if you encounter the same issue when peeling onions, you may want to try this. On the other hand, if you prefer less onion heavy meals, I can also understand you. Then simply go for smaller ones or go for milder onion variants such as shallots or red onions. Once the onion is cut, put it into your pan and start steaming it. After that, you can immediately turn your attention to the garlic and also dice it. The same goes for the garlic. As soon as you have cut it, put it into your pan and steam it too. If you ask me, garlic and onions are great base ingredients which fit into almost any dish. What are, in your opinion, great base ingredients you use almost for any meal you cook? Let me know down below in the comments. Maybe I can gain some inspiration from you. And now, while we are waiting for both garlic and onions to get glassy, we will turn our attention to our cherry tomatoes, or in my case, date tomatoes. Take the date tomatoes and quarter each of it. That's all you have to do. And while cutting your date tomatoes or cherry tomatoes, keep out a watch for your onions and garlic. They might start browning before you have finished cutting your tomatoes. If that is the case, you can add a portion of your date tomatoes into your pan to prevent your onions and garlic from burning. And once you have finished cutting the remaining tomatoes, also add them into your pan. We want to steam our vegetable mix until our tomatoes are starting to lose lots of tomato juice. And what you can see me doing here is also a great way for setting up your own tomato sauce. Simply cut some onions and garlic, steam them, and then add some cut tomatoes into a pan and steam those too. If you cook your ingredients this way for long enough, you will end up with a very tasty tomato sauce. And if it still feels too chunky for you, you can still puree it to a smooth sauce. You can cook this for a very basic dinner. Simply prepare your own tomato sauce, cook some noodles and maybe add some shredded parmesan into the mix. And then you can dig into it. Though that's not what we are cooking today, we want to keep our sauce chunkier. And that is why we will now start seasoning our sauce. We will add vegetable broth, parsley, dill and ground black pepper into our sauce. Afterwards, mix your spices under and taste your sauce. If you think you're still missing some salt, then add some additional salt into your sauce. Back in the day, I didn't like shrimps very much. At some point during my adult life, I simply tried them again and liked them immediately. Not only are they very tasty, they are also very lean and protein rich. So they are a great choice for you if you are on a low carb diet or a diet in general. That is the general perk of fish and seafood. Despite maybe salmon, many fish and many seafoods are very low calorie, while at the same time being very protein packed. So if you are looking for a change from your chicken breast filet, maybe you should try some fish or some seafood. It's always a good idea to have a rich and diverse diet. Speaking of which, you could also call Feta cheese low calorie compared to other cheese, which is not the reason why we're adding it to this dish, but anyhow, we will now start cutting it. Dice your Feta cheese or cut it into thin strips. Alternatively, if you want smaller Feta cheese pieces, then halve your Feta cheese and squash it with your hands. It is a bit messy, though it also does the trick. And if you're doing a casserole topped with Feta cheese, squashing the cheese with your hand is the best way to spread it on top. In between cutting and seasoning, make sure you stir your ingredients from time to time. Even though the tomatoes are quite juicy, they can still burn if they are not moved. And when you are satisfied with how your sauce is looking, you can deglaze your tomatoes, onions and garlic with white wine. I most of the time use a rather dry wine for cooking, though if you prefer a sweeter one, you can also go for that. For me, this is more or less incidental, because most of the wines from Germany are dry, or at least from the region of Germany I am from. Once you have deglazed your ingredients with wine, bring the pan up to heat again. At least for a short amount of time, we want to get our sauce back to a boil. And while we are waiting for our sauce to heat up, we will stir it from time to time, and we will also add some lemon juice to it. For this, as usual, I'm using frozen lemon juice from my ice cube mold. This is a trick I learned not too long ago, and I can only recommend you trying it. You will sleep way better at night knowing that you have some lemon juice stored in your freezer, close at hand. Once our sauce is back up to heat, we can add our shrimps to it. I'm using small ice sea shrimps from the North Sea or the Northern Atlantic. They are not too large, very tasty and don't need any peeling beforehand. And once the shrimps are swimming in your sauce and mixed under, you can also add your Feta cheese to your sauce. Stir it under too and make sure the sauce is hot enough to properly cook your shrimps. At this point our sauce is basically ready and we can leave it bubbling away. Which means we turn our attention to the carb part of our not so low carb dinner. We will now cook our noodles. As most of the time I'm using Fusilli for this, though you can go for penne or any other noodles you prefer. Simply follow the instructions on your packaging to cook them al dente. And maybe if this should be a low carb dinner, then simply leave the noodles out. And while we're waiting for our noodles to be done, we will show our sauce some love. Stir it from time to time so the ingredients mix better. And our Feta will transition from solid Feta to being sauce. Ain't that great? Once your noodles are done cooking, simply drain off all of the water. Our sauce has already enough liquid in it, so we don't need to catch any of our noodle water for this meal. And that's it. Now we have all of our ingredients ready and we can start serving our dinner. You can either leave noodles and sauce separate or you can mix them together. For this dish presentation I chose to leave them separate. Simply put sauce and noodles on a plate together and then serve them to your guests. And if you want to add a little something for the eye, maybe add 1 or 2 fresh basil or parsley leaves on top of your meal. Just a little bit of green already adds lots of contrast to many dishes, which is a great pleasure for the eye. And it really pimps up your sauce even if it's just plain tomato sauce with shrimps and Feta cheese mixed under. This brings us to the end of today's episode of Knobi Cooks. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Tell me down below in the comments how you liked today's recipe and how it tasted for you if you have prepared it yourself. It really is a great dinner which only takes very little time to prepare. And that's just one of the reasons why I like it so much. With that said, I'm Knobi and I see you in the next one. Goodbye.